Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 32 of Task Force Unlikely, a wizard's offer.
Task Force even less likely.
Yes. So, normally I would introduce everyone's characters right now, but most everyone is playing new characters, so I'm going to have them introduce themselves. Presently, let me do my recap and then we'll introduce everyone. So, last time on Task Force Unlikely, my head. Okay. That's terrible. Anyway, last time on Task Force Unlikely, the group was still in Hades and successfully got the book, disarmed the trap, and teleported away before Shylara could burst into the room with all of her fiends. So, the group then, sort of working their way backwards, figured out that Navira was no longer gone, and we see in a flashback that Navira has decided to accept Raistlin's offer in an attempt to overthrow Zariel, the Lord of the First Layer of Hell. So, hold on. Daniel, are you frozen?
I'm feeling great.
Okay. Your image is frozen for some reason, but if you
I
can...
hope it's frozen on like a picture of me doing a thumbs up or something.
No, you're
Not
just kind of...
me.
There.
Yeah, you're just kind of looking intently. It's not a bad picture.
Awesome. I'll use it as a headshot.
Yeah. It would kind of be a good like Twitch streamer headset. Like, this is my introspective look. As long as you can hear us and we can hear you. So Navira decides to go to hell. She does some research about Raistlin's plan, and is eventually approached by two individuals named Dim Weaver and Accurate John.
Yeah, it's like the sitcom thing when the celebrity guest shows up.
Just the canned audience applause.
Exactly.
Okay. So, John and Dim said they would go with Navira to the meeting place, and that Raistlin was gathering other individuals that had agreed to his plan. His plan being, of course, you go to hell, you steal Tiamat's power, and you overthrow Zariel, and then you release Tiamat's power. And that's literally killing two evil birds with one evil stone. You're getting rid of Tiamat and Zariel. Everything's coming up Raistlin. I mean aces. Races. Okay. So, Daniel, would you like to tell us about your character?
So, I don't know, like, what is my character doing at this time?
They are preparing themselves to go meet Raistlin in the undisclosed location outside of Waterdeep. So they can be at their home. Someone can teleport them a little bit however you want to work it. It's a little flexible. I want you to kind of set a stage where they feel comfortable.
Right. So I like to imagine that my character's day starts. He's sort of looking in a mirror. He's trying to get himself like really prim and proper. He's like combing his hair. He's got horns, but they look more like antennae. He's sort of like polishing his antennae. He's putting on these nice blue gloves and a robe. He's got a nice necklace on. He kind of starts talking to himself in the mirror, basically like a summy real estate agent preparing for work or something. Successful, powerful, handsome, happy.
I got me.
And he just he sort of magicked over his wand and everything else with Mage Hand, tucks it all in his bag, gets his business cards ready, and then just goes out to start the day. And this character, he's a very tall, like frighteningly gaunt tiefling, like 6'7", but only around 180 pounds, like quite gaunt. Whereas most tieflings have horns, he kind of has these weird-looking antennae, and this guy is basically completely blue, like a lightish blue. And his body, including parts of his face where sort of stubble would be, appears to be kind of like a type of weird exoskeleton-looking thing. He sort of, goes to the meeting location, trying to look as professional as possible. Probably has some a very firm handshake prepared for the first person who gets there.
Okay. I almost said Gale. That's not right. I need to not do that. Liz, what is your character who is not Gale?
No.
Like and doing?
His name is Kriv Iceclaw. He is a 7 foot tall, like probably over 7 feet, really big, beefy, white dragonborn. He's probably woken up from some bout from last night, just like he's gonna dust himself off with his furs and just basic, loincloth in it. Doesn't even bother checking. He just like looks clean enough, and then he's off and ready to go. He's got his axe. He's fine.
Okay. Awesome. Jay, there we go. That's where you are on the overlay.
I'm somewhere. How does today start for them? So, Fetcher is, you're pretty sure, a tiefling. Horns are a bit of a giveaway. They're a little small. Reddish, kind of brown, orange almost hair. And normal tiefling up until about the waist. Horns, wings. Things get a little weird then, because instead of a normal tiefling tail with either the spade or like some tufts of fur, they just have a straight up fox tail. And you're pretty sure that under their slacks, those are paws sticking out. And they're probably in a smoke-filled meeting room getting their instructions before being teleported off in their nicest red suit.
Okay, excellent. Navira, you have been walking with Dim and John for a couple miles now. It's been, let's say, 2 hours, and this Dim kid just does not shut up. I've never been to Waterdeep before, and it was really not very nice, and I didn't like it, and I felt like everybody was watching me the whole time, and you gotta keep your hand on your pocketbook, and like, it's just like, I just can't right now. I'm from a small town. Where are you from?
Hell.
So, a homecoming then.
Not exactly.
I'm not welcome back in my hometown either. I understand you.
No, you really don't. Also, if you want to keep your tongue in the hells, I suggest you stop it from flapping.
I talk when I get nervous. It's a defense mechanism.
I suggest you develop a better one.
I'll work on my biting wit.
There you go.
And he kind of, he finally shuts up. And you can see John just kind of like... Okay. So, you all walk and variously teleport, arrive, approach. It's midnight, because it's the creepiest time of night. And approach a little clearing a couple miles outside the city of Waterdeep. And you can see a group of individuals. Let's see, who's there? Bunch of humans. It's like... I'd say 7 humans out of a group of about 12. You think there's maybe a half-elf. There's a turtle. There's an ogre. And a tiefling. And, yeah, they're all kind of just standing there waiting. You don't see Navira... you all recognize Raistlin. Probably he has approached you at some point. Or your benefactors. But, yeah, everyone else is just kind of very quietly kind of poking a campfire, walking around camp. There's like a big pot of stew that somebody's made. Things of coffee are about. Tea. Lots of whiskey. But fairly mellow vibe. What would you all do when you approach the camp?
Grab one of the bottles of whiskey.
Okay.
Creep's gonna make a beeline for the soup.
Okay.
Arthur is going to immediately start schmoozing. Like, he's just gonna be like, "Oh, Raistlin, good to see you again, old chum. How are you?"
Raistlin's not here yet.
Oh, sorry.
But you want to get your business card out and start schmoozing new people?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, who would you like to start with? Anyone in particular, or just the first person you approach?
Jay's character is wearing a suit, correct? Or some kind of garment?
Yep.
Definitely Jay's character first.
Okay.
Hello there. Good to see you. I assume you hear about Raistlin's job?
Yes, I assume you as well, then.
You would be correct. Pleasure to meet you. Arthur Levisti. And then he's going to take out a business card that has his name and information on it.
Charmed, and they're not going to take the business card.
Arthur looks deeply insulted. And he kind of just tucks it back in his lapel and walks away. It's perfect. I love it.
Throwing 4 wet cats into a box. Let's see what happens.
Oh, for sure.
Kriv, you're stuffing your face full of stew. Just kind of looking around. Is there anyone you want to talk to, or are you just going to kind of wait until it's socially acceptable or not for you to take seconds?
I mean, he wouldn't wait till it's socially acceptable.
Okay, yeah.
He would already have like 2 bowls set out for him.
I figured he was just like picking up the pot and...
Where's everybody else? Am I right?
chug, 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 chug.
Okay. Dim looks around and he's like, okay, cool. This is super cool.
Deep rest him. Not like that.
And John tries to offer the most basic of consoling pats. Just there, son. Oh my God, do you
Just
think of me as your...
a little too hard, so they just kind of hurt.
How? Do you think of me as your son, John?
Awkward.
Vera is looking around at all of these interactions, and she is missing her friends greatly. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, what have I got myself into?
Just... I'll take care of the boy. Go get yourself something to eat, or drink, or... Don't lay it on too thick. Yeah, don't lay it on too thick. Gonna need to be frosty in the hells. Damn, you poor boy. Just kind of
Stronger shit in the hells.
push him away and start to... Yeah.
Arthur is trying to, like, mage hand a ladle into the soup bowl, but I imagine that Liz's character is kind of, like, right up there making it a little difficult.
I mean, you have to be bold with these sort of things. So, unless you're gonna come actually say, I want some stew, Kriv's not gonna let anybody else take any.
You're going to... Alright, fine, okay. Hi! I was hoping I could get some stew.
Oh, yeah, of course. And he'll just, like, take a bowl and just put his, like, whole hand in there and and pull out. Here you go.
Cross-contamination, though.
I hate it.
Arthur will say thank you very much in Draconic.
Aw.
Sorry, is he... Are they disguised? I wasn't sure.
I
There's
think...
something
No.
Yeah, I think you were seeing all of Kriv. Like,
Okay.
loincloth. That's it. Just strength of 18, broad as hell, 7 feet tall dragon man is in camp. Deal with it, everybody.
No, he's like... Look, I'm maybe, like, power forward shooting guard. He is definitely center. Thank you. I assume you're also here about... Good lord, you are large.
Thank you.
So good.
I'm gonna prestidigitation to try and make... Like, if anything was on his hands that is visibly floating in the soup, I'm gonna get that out of there.
He knows how
still
to
gonna-
wash his hands.
Good.
Knowing
I'm
how
still
to
gonna-
and have recently done it are two different things.
I'm still gonna drink it.
I cast clean soup.
I strain it of all of its nutritious goodness.
Yeah, it makes it more nutritious. So what is it that you do?
I hit things with my axe.
We do need one of those.
What do you do?
I cast spells at things. And also, if you're looking for someone to make a pact with, he's going to pull out a business card, hand it to him.
Kriv just, like,
Consider Levistus.
throws it away.
Okay, or don't consider Levistus. That's fine.
Oh, that was a perfectly good toothpick, Kriv. Okay. So,
Could just not consider Levistus. I'm cool with that. It's fine.
There's only one god, and he's a giant dragon.
which one?
Oh,
There's a couple of them. Which one?
Well, you know, the big old ice dragon that my tribe's
Right.
It's
in league with.
oh,
ironic considering we're going to free a dragon god.
Yeah, not even one of the real dragon gods. But no, yeah, 100%. Just
Kriv's not that smart.
you related to one of those swole things, or
what the hell? Hold on, I have a white dragon name. What the hell was it?
What's
Actually-
a kobold?
I might, because I have a history of being an emissary for, dragons. I might actually know who this dragon is.
Good, because I didn't name him.
Yeah, hold on. I got a name for them.
Steve.
Yes.
No, it does roughly
Steve
translate to
Ivan.
Frosty Linda, though. Let's see.
Frosty Linda.
What the hell was her name?
Frosty Linda.
I mean, yes,
Yes.
but she had a proper, dragon name. Eisendraug.
Okay, well, I rolled a 24 on my Arcana or History or Religion check, whichever one you want to use.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so Eisendraug is a powerful white dragon in the north. She nests in a place called Svardberg, which is an old frost giant keep. And recently, with the help of some adventurers, she kicked out all the frost giants and saved her clutch, and has been kind of trying to expand her influence across the north. So she's found some Dragonborn who are totally into it.
Good thing we don't know anyone with a history of fighting frost giants. Anyways, just putting a pin in that for now. Plot hook for the future. Eisendraug, correct?
Oh yeah, you know her?
Not personally, but I've heard a few things from various emissaries. I happen to be an emissary myself.
Oh, she's really neat.
I'm sure she is.
She's gonna make everything winter, and then we can hunt anybody we want, and then, all the glory to us. Super awesome.
Well, I do like winter. It reminds me of home. You ever been to Stygia? Very cold.
I haven't really been outside my tribe.
Oh, you're going to love the hell. Well, you're going to experience the hells.
There we go.
You are going to experience the hells.
It's their tourism board tagline.
Experience the hells.
Ellipses and all.
You'll never want to go home again, asterisk. You can't ever go home again.
Can't guarantee you'll enjoy it, but you're sure as hell experience it.
You'll never forget your stay. Let's just say that.
Experience the hells. You'll never leave.
The words "want to" are just crossed out.
Wonder what that means. Let's go, honey. You only live once.
Well, look, that's how Levistus got his, or rather, that's how Arthur got his contract. So.
Okay. Oh, okay. Various mingling. Would anyone else like to do anything? Approach anyone? Talk to anybody?
Are there any card games going on?
Yeah, you can see that over in one of the corners, the ogre has started to shuffle a deck and is playing a game with the tiefling, the turtle, and 2 humans.
Fetch is going to go win all of their money.
Okay.
Fetch, and she's a fox. That's funny.
They.
They are a fox.
Okay. So Fetch. 1, 2, 3, 4. As you sit down, one of the humans gets up like, great, lost all my money, and kind of offers you the table and looks at you and says, if you want to lose it, feel free. And he storms off.
Well, I can certainly give it a try.
Yeah, and the ogre shuffles the deck and passes it to the tiefling to his left, and he says, please, sit down.
Make a little bit of a show of dusting off, like, whatever stool or stump that there is to sit on before I...
Yes. And it's... it's always my go-to is Corm. Hold on. Where's my map? It's a Hold'em variety. It is Omnish Hold'em. Omnian Hold'em. So you get 2 cards. There's a river, all that stuff.
Yeehaw, I'm from the Thieves Guild.
I should have done wherever Evelyn's from. Anyway.
That's outside of Waterdeep.
I think it's Long Saddle. Fetch, do you want to make a deception check to try and take these fools' money?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I rolled a 4.
Okay.
So that's 17.
What? Okay. Thought I did okay.
That's a gale roll.
It really is.
Okay. Cool.
It's like when he learned Tarbek's ACE, and now he's learning this bluff mod.
Oh, man. even asked me about it before, and I was like, sure, deception checks.
Deception or persuasion.
Okay. So, the first hand, you're doing pretty well. But, the turtle next to you, who is just taking their sweet time. Almost as if mocking you, like, yes, I know turtles are slow. Like, he can't actually be this slow. But he insights out your bluff and actually wins this hand, but kind of nods at you with his just barely better 20. And, yeah, kind of, like, appreciates the game you are playing. The turtle deals the next hand. Do you want to keep going?
Absolutely.
Yep. So go ahead. Ooh.
That's a 20.
Okay. So, you handily take the next few hands, and the group kind of breaks up slowly as people lose money until it's just you, the other tiefling, and the turtle. So the other human leaves. And yeah, kind of keep going. Give me another check. Don't think it's possible for you to lose.
31.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and proceed to just take all of their money. So you get a total of 62 gold. And yet everybody else is out, and they're just like, good game, yeah. Well, fetch, what's this?
Yes.
Charmed, enchanté. It's Elvish.
Only one session. We've already got more money than the Star Chasers.
Oh shit.
I'm sorry, that was mean.
It's also not true anymore. They did get some money recently, but
It is also not.
But recently, like, they've been poor for a long time. Still don't have Task Force Unlikely money. Sure, we'll buy a country, whatever.
I mean, you just need to run them through a second-ed adventure. That's what we did.
Pretty much.
Because all of the old adventures, that was back when all the balance was basically, how much fucking gold and magic items does your party have?
Well, no.
The point of it outside of combat was like, hey, here's your town you should manage.
Yeah. And I don't think in second edition this was true, but in first edition, experience points equaled money. So depending on how much gold you earned was how much experience points you earned, because then that rewarded you not for just killing monsters, for going into dungeons, exploring, dealing with social situations. It's actually a pretty good system. But
Marty and Cece, I am sorry for making fun of you.
They have one full money now.
An entire money. I tell them not to spend it all in one place, but they only have one.
Okay. So yeah, the ogre kind of folds up the deck in his giant ogre hands. Hands you the deck, because what are they going to do with it? They don't have any money left. And says, yes, so what brings you here?
No, the same thing that would bring everybody here. Just a job.
Oh, interesting, yes. No personal stakes in it, just a job.
I mean, a few, but what's anybody here without any mystery?
Interesting. I like it. Well, you keep your mystery then, Fetch. You keep it.
I certainly shall.
You keep it.
If he's trying to be mysterious, I'm just gonna go invisible.
Now that's
I assume it's not a particularly well-lit area where we are, so
It's not. Just kind of
Cool, until I move again, I'm invisible.
touche. Which is also Elvish. The ogre will stand up, brush off his loincloth, walk away. Okay. Would anyone else like to do anything?
Yeah. Navira will approach the pot
Mm-hmm.
just to like get at least something in her. And she'll just be like, dude, move.
Can you even move over?
She'll nod and then just dunk as much as she can.
Kriv is like nodding approvingly.
You get it. You get it. She's also just like a little, like, she's not totally showing it, but she's just a little bit taken aback. She's not used to someone being bigger than her.
It's like a really tall party.
It's like, okay.
Mostly.
Mostly.
It's like the opposite of the normal party, where normally it's one really tall person and then 3 shorties, and now it's.
If I so chose, I could look down on all of you.
You seem to be doing that right now just fine.
Oh, absolutely.
Damn.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. Navira, you have your stew. It's stew. It's very basic. It's got chunks of, you hope, beef. You hope. Carrots, potatoes. You think there's celery in here? There's the one green thing. And yeah, just kind of.
I like knock it back,
Okay.
and then I spit out a dragon scale. I look at Kriv.
Kriv just shrugs.
So that's why it was
Dumps
so
the rest of
crunchy.
it back in the stew.
It's good. It's good for digestion.
What, aren't dragon scales like armor? I feel like you'd break a tooth on that.
Yeah, but it's Navira though.
Yeah.
Roll to crunch dragon scale.
Okay. Anything else, Navira, or anyone else? Okay.
We'll also shake hands with Navira.
She's not. She doesn't touch you.
All right then.
Just kind of stares at you like,
You smell like hell, and I don't like it.
It's not only is it hell, it's like hell mixed with like cheap cologne. It's like
ugh.
Oh, Axe body spray, sure.
Yep.
That's
But whatever flavor is like the weird imitation of like Mountain Frost mint or whatever.
Power Blast peanut butter. Why would anyone want this?
Just so anaphylactics can't come near him. It's like it's the only reason I can think to use peanut cologne.
Ew.
Ugh.
Okay, so
He is not using peanut cologne.
no,
For the record.
who would? Not even. A
Not
devil.
even like the businessman from hell is that evil.
No,
Mr. Peanutwood, rest in peace.
no, he
He is
undied.
also-
Glad he's dead.
He undied.
He actually is also in hell. He is
Yeah.
on
I
the
mean-
lowest layer, actually.
He sold out his brethren for money. So,
It's true.
but okay. So as everyone's kind of, there's even like a lull in the camp. You all can see a blast of red energy, and Raistlin appears, kind of leaning heavily on his staff. And he looks around and he takes a deep breath and he says, "Excellent, you are all here.
Do you need a lozenge?
I'm fine, thank you. Maybe he looks like maybe he does, but he doesn't want to admit it now. I'm fine.
Arthur will take out a lozenge.
He says, okay, if anyone has lost their nerve, now is the time to leave. I will complete the ritual, which will take us one step closer to hell. Kind of looks around. Good. And he will... What does he have to do?
Just for the record, whatever the ritual is, Arthur is trying to backseat him. 100%.
Okay. So he takes out like a kind of a jet black urn that he starts to carve runes into, and kind of occasionally looks behind him like, "Can I help you?"
No.
Navira's gonna put just a hand on Arthur's shoulder, like using just enough of her strength that it hurts a little bit. Just gonna pull him back.
Arthur just...
He takes out a piece of paper and he starts to scrawl on it. And if you want to try and peek over his shoulder, Arthur, as you are rather close to him still, you can with a perception check. But
Absolutely. I got not good.
okay, he's not a very large man. You all are much taller. He's maybe 5'6", so the majority of you are taller than him. He's like rail thin. He looks frail. Yeah, and he starts scrawling, and he kind of almost pulls his robe up so that you just can't see him.
All right, jeez.
And folds it, puts it into the urn, seals it, and you can all kind of hear like a whomp as the urn is sealed. And he points to the ogre, and he says, "Bury this 20 paces that way." And the ogre looks at him for a second and says, "Of course, good sir. My paces or your paces? Just do it." Okay, well, thought magic was very specific, but fine.
Very valid question, honestly. I don't want to end up in fucking limbo or whatever. Hate that place.
You can see the ogre's trying to like, okay, well, halfway then. It tries to like kind of take weird half steps. Goes 20 paces out. Takes a shovel, one dig, and it's like more than big enough. Kind of puts it in, buries it. And Raistlin says, "Everyone get some sleep. I'll wake you when it's time." Whether or not you get some sleep is totally up to all of you.
Arthur is definitely like a 9 hours kind of guy. 100%.
Anybody else going to sleep, or somebody want to stay up, or how do you want to do this?
Kriv is getting kind of antsy. So you probably try to fight somebody.
Anyone in particular?
The ogre.
Barbarian after my own heart.
So how do you pick a fight with this ogre?
Okay, I think Kriv just walks up to him, starts to flex, and say, "You good, bro?"
"I'm quite fine, sir. What's the problem?"
"No, you're good. Let's go. Come on, you and me. Let's go, bro."
"Go where?"
And I guess Kriv not understanding. He's just like trying to like vaguely gesture to like his chest and be like, "Let's go, come on."
This is rather forward. Would you like to make out in a bush?
What? Maybe no. And then Kriv just pushes him.
Ah, what's it? Takes out his club.
I ship it.
That was amazing. That was great.
Yeah, and just a scuffle ensues.
That's one of the cartoon clouds.
Exactly, it's a little peanuts cloud of smoke.
20 gold on the big guy. Oh, I should be more specific.
What was that, Jay?
If this starts getting the camp's attention, I'm gonna start a betting ring.
Yeah.
20 gold on the... Oh, right, yes. 20 gold on the Dragonborn. Or 10 gold, that's all I have, actually.
Okay, yeah. You start a little betting ring. You got little cards. Do you want to place odds, Fetch? Do you want to set them?
No. Actually, yes.
Okay.
I'm going to whisper to Fetch and offer them, if you set the odds a certain way, I could maybe help you skew the results in a specific direction.
I was planning out, but I'm not sure they're going to need help. And she's going to favor Kriv. We'll actually put Kriv as the underdog in it.
Okay.
I would like to subtle spell hold monster on the ogre.
Ooh. Ooh. Well, it's smarter and wiser than most ogres, but a 5 on the die is not going to do it.
What did it roll? Mine's a 16.
Yeah, no, it got a 5, so it adds like 2, so it's a 7. So it fails. You frozen, Daniel?
Nope, no, I'm not frozen. Just doing a fist pump.
Oh, you're frozen for us on the visual. Sorry. I don't know why it keeps happening. But, okay.
Totally worth the spell slot.
So, hold monster. All of a sudden, the ogre is paralyzed. Almost, Kriv, to you, it looks a bit like they're just afraid. Like, and you just go ham? Like, how do you do this?
Kriv would like to rage.
Okay.
Oh no, we're gonna kill this poor ogre.
Well, it's just a friendly bout. It's just raging is Kriv's like main go-to.
Okay, so what do you want to do to this ogre?
If he's like frozen in like this kind of position, Kriv is just gonna bodily just tackle him right into onto the floor.
Okay. Since he's paralyzed, I'm just gonna have you do that. Okay, so you've got him tackled to the ground. It looks like he's taken some damage, and then what do you want to do now that you have him pinned?
Just go wail.
Just start wailing?
Yeah.
Okay,
It is an automatic crit.
yeah, roll a couple d12s for me.
D12?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Every hit's an automatic crit.
Our one rolled a 10,
Okay.
and the other rolled a 7.
Okay. Just start wailing on him. Does he get saves when he gets hit for hold monster?
He gets saves every turn, I believe.
Okay.
Wisdom save.
God. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Just pounding on him. And eventually, even though he's being held, he kind of, you can see like his eyes start to flutter. Like you think he's real close to being knocked out.
Okay. Kriv will like, once he notices like the guy's not really doing anything, he just won't get off him, but will just stop beating him senseless.
Okay.
And then I will release the hold monster.
It's like,
And the ogre just kind of passes out.
that was it. That wasn't fun. Kriv will just get up and be like, who's next?
What are the
They
odds
are
on
all
that again?
going to fit right in.
Pretty much everyone scatters except for the turtle. The turtle's like, yeah, I'll go.
Cool.
He's like a level 20 monk or something, I swear.
How much did we make off the bets?
Let's see. Pretty good. 188 gold.
Is that each or split?
Split. I made that hard. Why did I make that hard?
94 gold for each
There
of
you go.
us.
Thank you.
Given that I only put in 10, I consider that a very good profit.
I didn't put in a damn thing.
You are correct.
Okay. So yeah, so the turtle's like, yeah, I'll fight you. Hey, just how you want to do it?
Bare fists. Come on. And Kriv will just like go in and just.
Bare fists? Okay, yeah.
I'm not going to bet anything on this one because I actually want to see what they're both capable of. And not going to try and rig it either.
Okay. So, since he's willing, let's roll initiative. And we won't necessarily have a full-on brawl, but we'll play out a couple rounds.
Oh, I get advantage on initiative. That's a 12.
Okay. So the turtle moves shockingly fast because you have only kind of seen him be very slow so far. And that's apparently some sort of act. And yet he kind of sways one way and attacks you with some unarmed strikes. 3. The highest was a 14.
That's my armor class.
Okay. So, take 7 bludgeoning damage, which you half, so 3. Yeah. And he kind of very slowly sways back and forth, almost hypnotically.
Keep him away from that whiskey at all costs.
Kriv sort of just like shakes himself off and then just goes in again with more punches.
Okay. So make attack rolls.
That is 21 to hit.
That's a hit. And do you get a second attack? You should.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
That is a 14 to hit for the second attack.
The 14, so the 21 hits cleanly on his jaw, and you kind of swing with your other hand, and you hit his shell, and it actually almost hurts your hand, because it just bounces off. You don't feel like you did any real damage.
Okay.
But, so yeah, go ahead and roll D6s, we'll say, for your damage.
Okay. So that's just 2.
Okay. 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 So he'll swing again. Ooh. And he's going to land 3 hits on you, and just kind of sways one way, and then like clocks you 3 times, like head, chest, gut. So you take a total of 9 damage. That's including your resistance, so 9 damage. And after he does, and you kind of double over for a second, he's swung himself around you, kind of like swaying. So he's behind you now. It hasn't really done anything other than he's just behind you. So you can spin and attack him there, but
I think Kriv will spin around, but I'm gonna use my retractable claws.
Okay.
So you just see like these claws just spread out from his fingers. Like they're already pretty long, but they're like now they're like just awful. I know this go double scratches.
Okay. Go ahead and make some attack rolls.
Oh, well, that's a 1.
Okay.
That's another 1.
Okay. So as you go in for double claws, he kind of tipsily sways and pushes you in such a way where your claw strikes hit 2 other people, and they both yell, "Hey! The hell, man!" And just all of a sudden, it's a full camp brawl. Like, just bottles flying, the stew pot goes hurling, the ogre's still passed out, but, you know, the NPC tiefling is like, pulls out some long-ass dagger, just kind of like, "Buddy, back off, man. Been to jail, I'll go again." And yeah, just kind of, it's just mayhem at this point. What would Kriv and the other members of not Task Force Unlikely like to do?
Well, I think I'm gonna turn in for the night.
Okay, yeah.
Good time to have a fly speed. I'm just gonna hang out above this mess.
Oh, man. I do love the idea of, like, a besuited devil just kind of, like, turning away from a fight and, like, walking away as if, like, my job here is done. But, yeah, and then Fetch flies into the air.
Navira is gonna shatter the bottle of whiskey on a rock, hold it out in front of her just in case anybody gets too close, pop open another one, and just giggle to herself.
Okay. Yeah, and then, Kriv, do you want to keep going in this fight, or do you want to try and fight that turtle?
I think he's just gonna start punching.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
anyone who comes up to him, turtle, whatever.
Yeah, the turtle kind of drunkenly sways next to Navira and pulls out its own bottle and starts pretending to drink from it, you think, Navira?
Cheers.
Kind of taps the bottle, and yeah, it's just full-blown melee. Yeah.
Ah, just like home. The sounds of extreme violence help Arthur sleep.
It's white noise to him.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, so yeah, just everybody eventually tires themselves out. Kriv is victorious, being the giantest and bravest and strongest boy. And yeah, everyone else is either drunk asleep, knocked out asleep, or gave up asleep. So what would you all like to do then? It's been a couple hours since Raistlin told everyone to go to bed.
Navira is actually not sleeping. She doesn't think that she'll be able to sleep,
Okay.
because if she does, she'll just have nightmares. Like, what is about to happen has been just, like, going over and over and over again in her mind. And, like, she knows that if she, like, lets out any control of her mind, she's gonna, like, slip into, like, old memories, like, old stuff that happened to her. She's not gonna let that happen.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Sorry. Go ahead.
Since Kriv is now victorious and a good boy, he's just gonna just keel over and pass out.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. You all sleep or don't sleep. For maybe a little less than 8 hours. So, after a bit, Raistlin starts walking around the camp saying, "Up, everyone, up. What happened?"
No, just having a little fun, Raistlin. Don't you worry about it.
What did you expect?
You brought a bunch of people who are willing to travel to hell. I can't believe you didn't expect this.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, we don't care.
Not in the least.
Okay. So, as you all wake up and somebody starts to make oats, which is just breakfast stew when you think about it, kind of start to gather up. A couple people start tearing down the camp. And what's everyone's passive perception?
9.
I was going to say.
No.
Right. Oh, right. Even worse than that. Kriv, you're our only hope.
I do passive perception?
It's 10 plus your perception score.
Oh, so 11.
Okay. Everyone's so perceptive. Everyone give me a perception check. Maybe that'll work a little better.
No, it won't.
Here.
12.
11.
Okay.
11, surprisingly.
Okay.
Oh, I got a 15.
There we go. Okay. So everyone else is kind of busying themselves appropriately, but you notice, Kriv, the Raistlin walks to the edge of camp, and out of the woods, propelled or pushed by no one, is a little black baby carriage, like one of those old-fashioned ones that's, got like the hooded thing. You can't really see in it, but it wheels itself out into the towards the camp, and Raistlin walks to meet it.
I guess Kriv would try to grab one of the people who might be smarter than him and be like, look, look, look. Like he'll shake like Fetch or something and be like, look, look, look. Because he has no sense of, touching things.
Okay, what am I looking at other than creepy
You know,
pram time?
You know Raistlin had kids?
You should have disclosed that. That's not cool,
older
man.
Gentleman, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's not cool, man. But yet looking at it, it seems like Raistlin is talking to whatever is in this baby carriage. And you can see now that you're kind of focusing on it, just smoke is pouring out of the baby carriage.
So I imagine I would know a fair bit about rituals to hop planes.
Sure.
What would I know what's going on? Would I know how this is working?
Yeah, give me an Arcana or... it's Arcana check.
$25.
Excellent. Okay. So, based on what he did last night and based on this, you think he's trying to take you to a place called Smoketown, which is hard to get into. You have to pay a fairly hefty price. The price is negotiable, but it's not cheap. But it is a place where you can hire guides to take you to whatever layer of hell you want to go to. It's extra... The location, much like where you were from, is extra planar in its own weird way. So it's one of the very few places that connects to the hells and is willing to take people there. So yeah, what would you like to do with that information, if anything?
Well, I don't think it's his child, but I don't seem to presume. I think we're off to a bad neighborhood, is all I really think.
They were like the ones with the salesman?
Sure, we can go with that.
Did someone call for me? Heard something about a salesman?
going
Why,
to a new
yes,
neighborhood.
Do believe it was dear Kriv here who mentioned your name. Or at least occupation.
We're going to what?
Kriv will just point to like the baby carriage. Raistlin has kids and they're smoke people.
Huh.
Not cool, man.
Do I understand what's going on?
Yeah, so you can see the three of them are kind of not necessarily very discreetly pointing and talking about what's happening, and you scroll over, look at Raistlin, see the shadowy baby, and you're like, fucking hate Smoketown. Yeah, it's this extra, it's on the outer plains, and it's one of the few places that have gateways to hell. They're just, you have to deal with guides, and they're a pain in the ass. And they all have their own different demands and contracts, and you have to sign a contract to get there. It's just a real big hassle, which is one of the reasons why being a member of the cult of Zariel, like, you didn't have to deal with this shit.
Who would have thought that getting out of a cult meant that I had to deal with more bureaucracy?
Ugh.
The cult loves dealing with bureaucracy for you.
Alright, well, I don't really want to interfere. Would I know of any other easier ways to get in?
Easier? No, it is very difficult to get to hell.
Yeah.
You can't teleport into it. There are existing portals, but they are shrouded in secrecy, both for the sake of devils not wanting other devils or demons to know where they are, and so that humans can't just walk into the hells.
I think the other option is die, but I don't know if we want to go down
the
that
real
path.
quick, easy way
That
to do
only
it
works once.
is die. No. Arthur is 100% right. You can die. You'll go to hell. Especially most of you. You may not end up on the layer you want, though. That's the other problem, is it's hard to get to the layer you want since there are 9 of them. It's not necessarily easier, but you could go to Hades again and walk to hell. So you can go to other planes and walk physically to hell. It just, you have to go through Hades. So
she doesn't seem like a fan of any of these options, so
Yeah.
she's just going to let Raistlin do what he does, especially because any interference is more danger for her. So she just looks at the pram and goes, ugh, and then walks away.
Okay.
Right?
Gross. So Raistlin finishes up whatever he's talking about. You can see a little baby hand hands him the urn, and he pulls it, and he takes it and puts it in his robe, and then the baby kind of. Go ahead.
Arthur very earnestly says, "Oh, that's adorable."
And then the baby, creepily points its little arm out of the demon pram and points deep into the woods, and Raistlin says, "Everyone up." And then the baby carriage rolls itself back into the woods.
Bye-bye. All right, then. Looks like we're on our way.
Kriv
Yeah.
starts shouting. Woo, yeah! Go!
Road trip. I like this one. He's very enthusiastic.
That he is.
It's so ironic.
Okay. So, everyone gathers at the camp. You start walking. You can see that Dim and John they've spent most of their time talking to the half-elf, and she kind of has a very sullen, serious look on her face. The ogre is like, what happened last night? Does anyone know?
Mystery. Cool.
You got your ass kicked.
Mysteriously, though.
I hope it was fun, at least.
I've seen better.
Okay, wow. Let's get it together.
Immediately afterwards, too.
I'll look off into... Why am I here? Yeah, and you all start following Raistlin, who's leaning pretty heavily on his staff, to down this creepy Scooby-Doo lightning bolt wooded path. So as you do, you can see, as you get further and further along the path, the trees slowly, as if like a gradient effect, go from living to dead. Like they just kind of, they're alive, and then the next tree is sort of dead. The next tree after that's kind of dead, and then so on until they're just dead skeleton trees. Not literally skeletons, but skeletal trees. And eventually, you all enter a clearing where heavy smoke surrounds a small town. And if you look back, you cannot see the forest anymore. And Raistlin says, finally. Kind of stumbles further into town. And you will all, or he walks towards the town square. What would you all like to do?
Weir is trying not to puke.
Okay. So, you all...
The closer she gets to hell, the more nervous she gets.
Hopefully you can see this. Yeah, there we go. So the
Arthur
town
will...
looks like that. So there is like a blackish ichory lake here. But other than that, it's like a walled, just normal looking human settlement. This white area out here is all smoke, though. Arthur was going to say? Sorry.
Yeah, Arthur will very sarcastically say to Navira, first time in hell.
Do you want to get punched? This is how people get punched.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Wouldn't be the last.
Oh, I'll make sure of that.
Okay, so Raistlin walks, and a fit middle-aged man, weathered face, dark skin tone, white hair, approaches all of you, and kind of scans, finds Raistlin, and projecting his voice, he says, "Welcome to Smoketown. I am the captain, master of this place. You have summoned it, Smoketown. May I see your contract?" And Raistlin reaches into his robe, pulls out the urn. The captain takes it, cracks it, pulls out the contract, looks at Raistlin, looks at all of you, says, "This is passage for a lot of people. But your contract has been accepted. Please offer payment now." Raistlin kind of coughs for a second, and he calls towards the group for tribute. And the tiefling, kind of confused, the NPC one, walks forward and says, "Yeah?" Kind of a little nervous. And Raistlin says, "Boy, come here." And Raistlin puts his hand on his shoulder And the captain points at Raistlin and kind of finger guns, essentially, like, nailed it. And you can see Raistlin start to shrivel, and he gets, like, visibly ages, like 10 years. So his golden skin starts to wither, his hair starts to thin, wrinkles appear around his eyes, and he just leans very heavily on Tribute, who looks relieved. But he says, "Take me to the inn." And he looks back at all of you and he says, pointing at Navira, because he knows, and maybe Fetch as well, he says, "Find us a guide." And he starts coughing very heavily, and Tribute walks him towards the inn.
I'll look at Fetch and just shake my head in a direction, gesturing for them to follow.
They will.
Okay. The rest of the group kind of looks around and looks around and they're kind of like, doesn't look like there's much to do, and they all variously break off. Dim John and their other companion seem to meet up with the ogre. Nod for a second. They tell the ogre to get going, almost as if they're like maybe trying to not be seen with him, and then walk up to you. And John says to Navira, "Ma'am, do you need help?"
No.
Okay,
This will be better with less people.
Okay, you should take someone with you, but I'm going to try and get the boy settled. We're not in hell yet, Dim.
Oh, I
Definitely
wouldn't be too
his
worried
first time.
about hell. There are worse places.
I would try to find someone to cast the calm emotions on him.
John Weeks reaches for a flask and kind of looks at Dim. Not that kind. It's fine.
I'm going to walk over to Dim, and I'm going to say, "Look, if you just stay calm and stick with us, you will be fine." And I'm going to cast Suggestion on him.
Okay. Yeah, okay, hold on. Let me look up his stats. He's actually probably... Is that a wisdom save? He's probably not terrible at those.
That's probably a wisdom save. It is a wisdom save.
He's a wizard. Let's see. And your spell save is 16?
Yes.
Well, man. Well, not man. You did it. He just rolled garbage. I've been rolling terrible most of this fight. Or most of this game. Yeah, he kind of... His eyes glaze over and he says, "You're so right. I just need to stay calm." Okay, that worked for like 1 second. Okay. I'm okay. I just have to hold on to that thought. Hold on to that feeling. I'm fine.
It did not work as well as I thought it would.
It works until suggestion works until they do it, and then it no longer works. It's the downside of suggestion.
Yeah, well, yeah, and having a commit, like, stay, okay, how long you do have to stay?
Yeah, they did it.
No, that's fair. That makes sense.
But no, but he is trying to hold on to that one moment of calm in this, and he starts to steady his breathing. "Thank you. I'm never making a deal with you, though." Okay.
Oh, come on. He holds out his hand. There's like a swirl of ice, and like a pentagram just starts spinning in his palm.
Oh, what?
Beer will grab his wrist and pull it down.
Okay. I'm just gonna go into the creepy inn and lay down.
What's the worst that could happen?
Jonathan, a word. Just kind of walks away.
Boy, I joke. You're surrounded by other people. The terrible things are much more likely to happen to them than to you. And I would like to persuade him to calm down.
Okay, yeah. Give me a persuasion check with your plus 58.
25.
Okay, just kind of... Okay. I was calm for a minute. Everyone else is here. Accurate John's here. He's my friend. Friend, I'm your boss. And yeah, it kind of steadies his breathing and starts to walk off towards the inn. You can see he takes like 10 steps and starts hyperventilating again and then calms and just keeps going, kind of replaying the 2 moments he was calm so far this entire time. And John's like, I'm gonna go check on that poor boy. The woman is left standing there and staring at you for a second. And then she walks away. Navira, everyone pretty much is dispersed except for convenience sake, Fetch, Arthur, and Kriv. Do you want to bring them along with you? Well, Fetch, definitely, because Raistlin said yes. Would you like to bring Muscle and Salesman with you?
Yes. But first she's just gonna kind of like look all of them in the face, sigh, and walk.
Oh, I get the feeling you don't trust me.
Oh no, I trust you completely.
Just trust me to do stuff that you're not exactly fond of, I assume.
No, I don't trust you to do shit.
Fair enough.
You're there for fodder in case we need payment. And then she's gonna head towards like one of the shadier areas of town. Like the obvious places to look would be like, oh, the tavern or the inn, but she's like, okay, the best guys are not gonna be hanging out there.
Okay, let me skip through all of the good ones then. Like literally, quote unquote, alignment good. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Okay. So yeah, you head to the docks and one of the slightly shadier areas of town. You can see you pass by a big building that has a bunch of like arcane symbols all around the outside. And occasionally you can hear like screams from inside and the sound of a watermill. You pass by... Where's that? Yeah, as you're walking, you see what amount to gallows, essentially. But instead of hanging people... They have cages that have people in them, and most of them are gaunt and skeletal.
Fetcher feels right at home.
Yeah. This is very much a Sigil vibe, mostly because it was designed by the same person. But, yeah, and you're just kind of walking around. You're getting a general, not nice vibe. But you start to approach the shadier parts of town, and there's a couple people playing dice, and they stand up, and one of them kind of leans against a wall and says, "You lost? You need a guide?"
Depends on who's asking.
Kind of brushes off his vest and says, Hamilscar Norrand. Charmed.
No. Not charmed.
One-sided then. Perfectly fine. How can I help you today? And he appears to be like an Eladrin.
Well, you were right in that we need a guide. What can you offer?
Says, I know the pathway to several hells. A Avernus. I said Glacia. She's a leader of hell, not one of the... There's Canaans. Avernus, Levistus.
Stygia.
Stygia, thank you. That's the one that Glacia rules. Thank you. Avernus, Stygia, and Levistus. He knows the way too.
I'm trying to get to Avernus.
Yeah, no problem. Just the four of you? More than that?
We've got a whole
More.
Lot more?
group. Lot more.
Lot more. Ooh. I mean, yeah, I can definitely do it. It's just the more people, the harder it's gonna be. You know, if you want to keep a low profile on entrance, it's just gonna.
What do you want?
It's just gonna cost you. Okay, right to it. No, I like it. Well, let me start with what are you willing to offer?
Him? She'll point to author. Right there.
I'll take soul coins.
Look, my dear sir, payment can take many forms. Perhaps it would be faster if you told us which ones you were most interested in.
Arthur, by the way, does not seem that phased about, like, Navira offering to sell his soul. It's like, yeah, been there, done that.
He'll kind of look
Fair.
at you, fetch, and say, of course, no problem. I take soul coins, vast amounts of gold. Vasts. Gems are also applicable in their stead. And I also take wish spells.
Any other spells you're interested in?
Pretty much just wish. Although he kind of... I'll also take true resurrection.
Can't do that one either.
Did Raistlin seriously send us off without payment?
I have 91
but we
gold.
do have options. Well, do you have a way to get back into contact with you, sir?
Of course. He kind of says, I'm always available at my office. Office hours are sunrise to sunset. Kind of gestures at his alleyway. He's knocked over a barrel to be sort of a desk.
We'll be
Lovely
in touch.
space that you've managed to put together. We'll keep you in mind.
I'll be here. My rates are competitive.
I'm dumb and didn't write it down. What was his name again?
Hamelscar.
Didn't he, like, cross the Alps with elephants?
That's an urban legend. They were goats. I don't know. Okay. So, as you sort of walk out of that alley and that shady dealing, you hear, psst, hey, don't deal with him. Hey, come here. Hey.
What?
And you see this skinny little deep gnome. So they have like ashen gray skin. They've got a shaved head. Hey, now, much better prices. Tamino is your only guide to Avernus. It's all I do. I'm an expert.
Navira's gonna kind of look to fetch, like, to get
You
some
have better
insight.
prices. What are they?
Kind of stares. Just kind of off into the distance for a minute. And then blinks a couple times and says, yeah, I don't deal in soul coins. That's weird. Just gold. Only money.
Gonna take out my big bag of money.
Someone's asking to get jumped.
Yeah.
They can try. I have cone of cold prepared, so.
Nicked. Yeah, and the gnome says, what, you've got about 20 travelers? 15?
How many do we have?
Like between 50. You do have between 15 and 20.
Okay.
He says, I'll do it for 100,000.
Well, it was nice meeting you.
Okay. Yeah, sure, wager your soul. I guess you're not using all of it.
To be fair, there's a bit of a backlog for mine.
Got a couple of IOUs.
Yeah, pull a Constantine. Just sell it to 4 different people. Have them fight it out.
I haven't sold it. I'm just using it as collateral right now.
Okay. He
I
says...
owe a lot of money to some very nasty people.
He says, if you change your mind...
Alright, Vera's gonna head to the inn and, like, irreverently barge into wherever Raistlin is and just be like, you forgot to fucking pay us.
Yeah, that'll be apparently 100,000 gold.
He leans up and coughs. Oh, of course. Gold, you said?
We got a couple options.
Stupid economy makes no sense. Iron. Okay, hold on.
While they're all going back to the inn, is there any chance of, because I have faction agent, of me finding a contact that I could use?
Here, 100%.
Perfect. I would like to do so.
Okay. Okay. Where's the... Okay, here we go. Yeah. So, okay, so faction agent away. So okay, let's do that in a second. So Raistlin, coughs, says, I have collected some gold from my time elsewhere. I have 200,000. I was planning on paying some of these people with it. But we can do that. I've come across some things in my travels. He'll pull out from his bag, and he'll pull out 2 soul coins and hand them to you, and they kind of, if anyone takes them, they burn in their hands before you put them in a bag. So, and he glares at you and he says, I need them back. And he's rummaging around. He pulls out like some kind of like crystal orb thing that he puts away, and then he pulls out a small bag of holding that says that has all the gold in it.
Well, what do we think? 2 sold coins or 100,000 gold pieces? We're not going to get a guide any other way. Well,
you'd offer the
maybe
combo.
we can get a guide another way.
You've only talked to 2. There's when you walked downstairs, when you walked through the inn, it did look like there were people downstairs who were like conducting guide business. They looked a little less shady. Okay. And then Raistlin kind of says, any other questions? Otherwise, I need sleep.
Thank you for paying the penultimate price.
Of course.
Navira is going to forcibly take the payment from Arthur, both the soul coins and money.
Come on. No need to be rough.
There is everything. she'll like put it discreetly, like somewhere in her armor,
Okay.
and head downstairs.
Do you wrap the coins in the soul coins in anything?
Yes.
Okay. You can still feel them humming and burning a little bit, but they're kind of wrapped and put into part of your armor, and then the gold also it's in like I said, like a little pouch. Okay, so fetch. So you locate. Sorry, fetch or fetcher?
Fetcher, fetch for short.
Okay. Just realized I was doing that, and I should have been checking my notes. Okay, let's see.
Congratulations, Jay. You made fetch happen.
Okay.
That was good.
I'm sorry.
Please don't be. That was right on the point.
That's good. That's very good.
I'm having way too much fun this session.
Okay. So, outside the bar that they walked into, you can kind of see hanging out front is a tiefling woman, short, kind of a little chubby, and has really long like horns, like they go down to her like mid back, curling behind her head. And as you pass, she just kind of nods at you, Fetch.
Well, hello there.
Hello. Hello there. She says, I don't believe we've been introduced. Thena, this is my haunt. Why are you here?
I happen to be running a few errands for a friend of ours.
Yes. They didn't mention anyone would be coming through Smoketown. As I said, this is my haunt.
Well, perhaps there's a better place for us to talk other than out in the street.
Yeah. Takes a couple steps through the alley, opens up like a basement door kind of on the side of the alley, and walks down some stairs.
Fetch will follow him.
Okay, yeah, and a little shabbily decorated little room, fairly plain, has some like exploration equipment. You'd say they're equipped to be a ranger of some kind. A bunch of bows and arrows. Turns back to look at you and says, what kind of errands?
Information, mostly witnessing.
Okay. Do you have a guide? Where are you going? You can't be going here.
No, absolutely not. A lovely place, though. Don't think I'm bad-mouthing your home. It's rather... Well, it makes me feel kind of at home, if I'm being honest.
Kind of,
About
yeah,
a score or less to Avernus.
Avernus? I know the path to Avernus.
I expect you would.
How much favor would you say you hold?
Fetcher is just going to summon Razorvine.
Look, I can do
Barmy
this.
Burke, you might call me Knight of the Cross Trade.
Kind of smiles and says, quite. I can do this for you at guild rates. You keep whatever you want from it. I don't care. Out of your stipend, and put in a good word with the king?
Absolutely can do that.
I'll start getting ready presently.
Marvelous. And Fetch will give them the information of the inn that they're staying at.
Okay. Yeah, kind
Feed
of.
back to everyone and say, hey, I found a guide.
Ah, wonderful.
Who are
Saves us
they?
a lot of trouble.
Friend of a friend.
I need specifics.
Yes.
Navira is just gonna like tighten her mask over her face she's been wearing this entire time. And just okay.
Okay. So with finding the guide, that's where we will end the episode for this week. Next time we will pick up continuing with these characters for an episode or two more. We'll see. Outros and plugs. Daniel.
Hi
There we
there.
go.
I'm Daniel, and I'd like to plug sleep. I didn't get enough of it last night. And I'd also like to plug all these lovely people here, because you guys are a joy to play D&D with, and I really enjoy coming out here. Heart.
Liz.
I am Liz. This is the first time I've played a character whose like intelligence is under like a 12, I think. He's not a smart boy.
Oh, that's okay.
He tries his best.
He tries his best.
He's a fight boy. He's a good
Yeah.
boy.
I
He's
can't
a
tell
good
if
boy.
he,
I like him.
I can't tell if he's like also evil or just kind of doesn't understand what's going on here.
He is lawful.
Yeah, exalts a dragon. I mean, a white dragon, too. Take from that what you will. That's probably what they appreciate most in life. Not going to get along in kind of Waterdeep. Or gets along very well in Waterdeep, depending on what ward you're in. Jay.
Hi, I'm Jay. You can find me here and on Twitter at JRashu. Gonna be a very busy Twitter month for me. 28 Black Days of Cosplay is happening, so I'm gonna be breaking my retweet button.
Woo.
Awesome. And Mira.
Hi, I'm Mira. I would like to say that I have been simultaneously super excited and dreading this episode for 2 weeks, and now I get to do it again!
Yay!
You can follow me on Twitter, on Instagram at Birds and Nerds. Super exciting stuff coming up. Keep an eye out.
I'm Andy Hatton. You can follow me on Twitter at Andy Hatton or at LaughINNDragon. Monday is Call of Cthulhu Twilight Trails. It's a thing that's happening, and it's maybe not good, or maybe it's great. Wednesday is Star Chasers. That'll be great. If you were interested in learning more about Smoketown, it is in Kobold Press's Warlock magazine, the 11 Hells, because that's how many hells they have in their campaign setting. Warlock magazine is quite good, and it's $5 a month, and you get this and a bunch of other stuff. It's great. It's on Patreon, or you can buy it from their website. Yeah, that's it. Have a great night, everybody. Or morning. It's the morning.
It totally is the morning.
Have
Bye.
a-
It'll be
Time
nice
is
to read
fake.
this.
Yeah, have a great whenever time you're listening to this. Exactly. Yeah. Okay.